do is a chocolate meditation. So you may want to stop the video to get some special things. I use these little Easter chocolate eggs, and I actually stocked up on these about 2 months ago when they first came out. So I have like 3 huge bags to give to all my students, and obviously I can't do that now, so my kids have got a score. They're looking forward to an Easter egg hunt with all the eggs that we have. So if you're not into chocolate, that's fine. You could also use, I've got here some sultanas, so you just need 1 or 2 sultanas maximum, or dates, which is a little bit bigger, or I quite like tamari almonds. Just that little bit of extra flavour on the almonds will help with this particular meditation. Or you could use something like a dried apricot, anything that's going to give you a bit of a burst of flavour. So around this time of year, I use the chocolate Easter eggs. So if you've got anything like that, or a square of chocolate, then make sure that you've got that. Don't eat it now. Put it to the side, and then when we get ready for our relaxation and meditation, we'll bring that out. So I'm just going to pack that off to the side. Other things you may need is a strap, tie, something like that, and something to support your hand, a yoga brick if you've got it. I'm sitting on a blanket. That's also a nice prop if you've got a blanket around as well. And we're going to start by lying down. Before we go any further, just to say that this yoga practice is done at your own risk, so please be mindful that if you've got any injuries, any conditions, then be guided by what your doctor says you can and can't do, and listen to the cautions that I give throughout the class. Don't do anything that's going to be harmful for yourself. So lying down, getting comfortable. So making sure you've got a nice clear space and that your strap is within easy reach, because we're going to start with some leg stretches. So you may want to have the knees bent initially just to get a nice lengthened spine, and just a little bit of natural curve in our lower back, shoulders on the floor. Release the arms beside the body. Perhaps close the eyes for a moment. A couple of nice conscious breaths in through the nose. Maybe side out through the mouth. And again, nice deep breath through the nose. Letting it go. And then allowing the mouth to close, and continue to breathe in and out through the nose. Just a natural breath, not controlling it in any way. And observing where that breath is moving into the body, whether it's just in the ribs or in the upper chest, or can you feel that movement down here in the lower abdomen? And every now and then through the day, it's always good to observe your breath. And whenever we take the time to observe the breath, it will change. It will possibly become a little deeper. Alright, so from here, why don't we take both feet off the floor, keeping the knees bent, and we'll just do a little circle around with the hands and the wrists and the feet. Get out the crooks and cracks, we'll go the other way. Depending on what time of day you're practicing. Early morning we tend to get a few more creaks and cracks. Okay, and then we'll place the feet back on the floor. So taking the strap, and we'll start with the right leg first. We'll place that strap around the ball of the foot, so it's just below the toes there. And holding onto the strap, I like to use 2 hands so I can keep both shoulders relaxed on the floor. Some people like to rest their elbows on the ground, that's fine. You can also just let it hang. And if you find your arms get tired, just wrap the strap around the whole hand, and then you can hang. So I'm not using my muscles to pull or anything like that. I'm just letting the weight of the arms hang there. So we come to a point where hopefully you can feel some sensation in the back of the leg. And it shouldn't be at your full extent, so a little bit of sensation. Then ease the toes towards the face and notice how that really increases that sensation in the back of the legs. Let's go the other way. So we're going to lift just the ball of the foot up and see how my toes are still pointing down towards the floor here. So I don't want to be with my toes way lower than my heel. Yes, it gives a strong sensation of stretch, but it's also a bit aggravating for that sciatic nerve that runs from the buttocks all the way up the back here. So if I just extend that ball of the foot a little bit higher than the heel, so it's not all the way up, I'm taking that sciatic nerve stretch up, but I'm still getting sensation of stretch. So now, drawing that leg, as we've had a little bit of time here, it might have become more comfortable. So I just bring that leg to find my edge where there's a little bit of discomfort, but it's definitely not pain. And check that your kneecap is facing your right shoulder. So I don't want it rotated across to the left shoulder. And then from this position, we'll take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, extend the left leg out along the floor. And this will add more sensation to the back of that leg. So I'm actively pressing my left thigh to the ground. You'll see my toes are drawing back towards the knee on the left side. And I'm keeping this right leg extended. Now, for some people who are quite hypermobile in your knee joints, make sure that you haven't locked right back. I'm not hypermobile that way. And for others of you who are quite tight, you're probably tempted to bring the foot close but have the knee bent. Just ease it off until you can get a relatively straight leg and work from there. So you may be a little bit lower down here, that's fine. Now we be patient, we breathe, we relax, no rush. It's not like we've all got to go out anywhere at this point. Alright, so we're going to keep the right leg straight, re-bend the left knee, and you'll find that it's now a little bit easier. So we're going to draw that right leg a little closer, find that new level of stretch. Make sure you haven't sort of lifted off with the buttocks, so keep that sacrum on the ground. Again, that patience, just breathing, observing. Try not to let the mind wander off. Alright, now we're going to ease back out of that. I quite like to bring my foot up and then take the other one down. It's just easy. Other people like to take the whole strap off and whatever works. All we want, left leg up in the air, right knee bent to start off with. And we're just looking for that little bit of sensation. So, this is too, I'm not really getting anything here. This is too strong. I'm just trying to find that little middle ground, which is about there for me. And then let's do that little experiment. Foot right down. It's like, oh, that's really intense. That's your sciatic nerve calling out to you. So let's go the other way and then find that little happy medium. Toes extending to face, the ball of the foot reaching to center. It's only a little bit higher than my heel. Check your kneecap, facing your left shoulder now. And relax, we breathe. As we have a little bit more time here, the legs warming up into the stretch, you might be able to go that little bit further, find that new edge. And make sure your hands are comfortable in that holding position. So moving on the breath in, fill into the belly. On the exhale, let's reach out through that right leg and we get a little bit more sensation now. So pressing the right thigh to the floor, toes back on that right leg. And again, relax into it. Soften, trying to keep the mind focused on what we're feeling in the body. So it's really easy for our minds to just wander. You know, what are we going to do for Easter? How are we going to catch up with family, etc. So we've got to try and stay focused on what we're feeling, or focus on the breath. Check that you haven't started to hold your breath at any time. So now we'll keep that left leg straight, and then bending again into the right leg. We'll probably find we can take up a little bit more slack now, find that new level. So these are big muscle groups, and we want to give them time to open up. This is not something you really want to rush. You have to be patient with them. And if you do want to keep improving your flexibility in your hamstrings, your calves, your glute muscles, then it's just, a little bit every day. It does make a difference. So see if you can incorporate, a hamstring stretch in something that you do every day. For me, I put moisturiser on my legs in the morning, so I stick my leg way up on the windowsill above the toilet, and I use that as my everyday morning stretch as I put on my moisturiser. The goal is you can find another way to do it if you don't moisturise. Alright, so from here, let's ease off. Take the strap off, bend that knee, and then just a nice little loose roll side to side. This is also nice just to get some movement in that lower back area. Okay, and then from here, how about we roll all the way over? We're going to come onto our stomachs. So if you do want to put some extra padding down underneath your hips, feel free to put your blanket on the mat. I've got double mats here, so I'm pretty well covered. Okay, working into our back strength. And for some of my senior students, I know that it's not your favourite thing, but it is so good for us to keep our back strength, to support our spine. So, supported Sphinx pose is where we'll begin. We'll have the elbows underneath our shoulders, and the hands are out in line with the elbows there, fingers spread out. And we just want to lengthen through the spine. So I'm going to reach out through the crown of my head as I stretch away through my tailbone and out through my feet. I'm trying to relax my shoulders, so I don't want my shoulders coming up around my ears. And think of opening into the front of the chest there. Breathe into the ribs, into the chest. And then to come out, we'll take the elbows out and then roll down. Now you can rest your head on your hands. Some people like to turn the head. You could rest your arms beside the body. Whatever's comfortable, that's the main thing. Now I always like to really target that upper back strength. So we're going to keep our feet on the floor, and there's two ways you can do this. So one of the ways is to bring the hands in nice and close under the shoulders, elbows tucked in, but we're not going to use the hands. So when we breathe in, we lift the head, lift the chest and the arms. So this is trying to relax as much as I can in the legs. The buttocks will be on a little bit, but I don't want my feet coming off the floor. If that's happening, you're using too much leg work. So we want the upper back happening. Now, for those who find that's just too much hard work and then really struggling to come off the floor, what you can do instead is have your hands up a little bit higher, and you're going to do an assisted lift. So we breathe in, we lift the head, lift the chest, but you keep your hands on the floor, but please make sure you're not pushing into the arms to come all the way up. So we want to find that back strength as much as we can. Try a little hover and then put the support back down. So that's the two ways we can do this. So let's do that one more time, either with the support here or hands back here. We're going to breathe in, lift the head, lift the chest, maybe lift the arms, keep the feet relaxed on the floor. Make sure that you can breathe, and maybe draw those shoulder blades down and in. We keep breathing just a little bit longer if you can. And And then on the exhale, nice controlled descent. Let's come all the way down. And I want you to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Slow ujjayi breath out. And maybe another one of those. So hopefully this mic is picking up my ujjayi breath. It's right near my mouth here. So if you're not familiar with ujjayi breath, it's that gentle contraction in the pit of the throat here. It's nice to use on the exhale, just to lengthen that exhale. So every time we come up into one of these back bends, we're going to come down, have a rest, and if you can use that ujjayi breath, bringing the mic up nice and close. It's meant to sound a little bit like the distant ocean. All right, so this is our basic back bend. Don't have to lift too high, but what we're going to add to this now is a squeeze over to the sides. So we're going to do 5 of these. Again, you can do this supported, but please don't push into the hands and lift up super high. You want to stay low. We're going to breathe in, and then we exhale. We'll squeeze to the side. We'll inhale back. And then we're going to keep going. We're going to do the same side. So right side will be the first side. And I'll swivel around so you can see my right side. If your back's all good and you've got no problems, feel free to do this without the hands. So feet on the floor. Breathe in, lift the head, lift the chest, lift the hands if possible. On the exhale, squeeze to your right. So I'm trying to look towards my toes. And then breathe back to the center. And on the exhale, squeeze to the right. And exhale back to center. So we're going to exhale, it's inhale to center, exhale to the side. 5 of these, so we've got 2 more to go. And what we're doing is squeezing that lower back kidney area. And when you've done that last one, let's come down, have a rest, however you like to rest, and that ujjayi breath. So slow breath in, slow breath out. Awesome. That's one side. I'm going to flip over. You can stay where you are. Let's do our left side now. So we inhale, feet relax to the floor, and exhale, we'll squeeze to the left. Breathing in. So we don't rush this. We really want the muscles working nice and strong. And what we have sitting above our kidneys is our adrenal glands. That's where our stress hormones are released. So we're also working on that area as well. So remember, we've got 5 of these. I hope someone's counting. I think I've got 1 more to go. Nice big squeeze. All right, let's come back to center. Release. Have a rest. Ujjayi breath. Okay, bringing the hands just in front of the shoulders now. So feet are roughly hip width, all 10 toes on the floor. And this time we're going to keep our hands on the ground, coming into Bhujangasana, our cobra pose. So elbows in, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. So I like to think of my elbow points moving to my hips. On the breath in, we lift the head, lift the chest. So this is all my back strength here, and then I'm going to exhale and add some arm strength now. But I haven't lost my back strength, because if I took my hands away, I'm not going to face plant the floor. So elbows down, relax the shoulders, gaze forwards, but don't throw the head all the way back. Think a length through the back of the spine. Little draw up through those lower abdominal muscles to support your back. If any discomfort, please come down. Come back to your Sphinx is a good option as well. So if you can hold here for 2 more breaths, just feeling that opening in the front body without squeezing the life out of your buttocks. See if you can soften them a little bit. And then on the next exhale, we're going to release all the way back to the floor. Find that ujjayi breath and bring the toes, big toes to touch. Let the heels fall away from each other and soften. Let's come back to center. We'll place the hands under the shoulders. We're going to push up to the knees. And then we'll take ourselves back into a child pose. So remember, you can support your head, have it quite high if you like. Head on the floor, arms beside the body. Just be comfy. Breathe into your back. So think of directing your breath into your lower back and using that breath to create space where we were just bending. And let's come up now to hands and knees. So cat pose. We'll go into our little cat-cow movement as we breathe in. We'll take the sit bones up first, little dip through the back, open the chest, gaze forwards. Now on the exhale, tailbone down, draw the navel in, and then release the head in. So just in your own time, with your own breath, moving from the base of the spine to the top of the head, rolling it out. Alright, back to a neutral position. And we'll do just a little twist here. So right hand is going to thread underneath the left arm. If you can bring your head and shoulders to the floor. I like to reposition my left hand just a little bit and gentle little push through the left hand. So it's a little twist for the back, but it's also opening up the back of the shoulder. Okay, we're going to release that back out and then take the left arm underneath, ear to floor. I like to reposition my right hand, little push. And then release. Now we're coming over to sit. So I'm going to grab my blanket here. And that's sort of your standard size blanket. You may want to just have it in half again, whichever height's comfortable. And we're going to place the sit bones on the edge of that blanket and bring the soles of the feet together into our bound angle pose, is what this one's called, Baddha Konasana. So if we have the balls of the feet touching, the heels touching, and then we try to get those heels coming a little closer towards our base. If you can think of, or maybe putting one finger behind the back of the knee there and just tightening those muscles around the finger. So that's the sort of engagement we want through these muscles. We'll take it back out. We're going to hold either the ankles or you can hold your toes, whatever's comfortable, whatever you can reach. And then from here, keeping that tightness behind the back of the knees, think of extending the knees away from the body. So we're just going to lengthen it out. We're looking to get a bit more opening here in our inner thighs. And then draw up tall through the spine. So we relax the shoulders, little hinge forwards from the hips, so all the way down here. And then, depending on how open your hips are, your back, etc., we'll move to a little forward bend. So we keep the breath drawing up through the spine, and then on the exhale, just easing forwards to where you're comfortable to go. I know some of you might be happy to put your heads all on the floor. Awesome. Rest of us, we'll just chill out wherever it's comfortable to go. I'm trying to keep my neck relaxed, so if I look up at the camera, that's not ideal. So I'm just going to keep my chin fairly neutral. And a couple of breaths here. Keep thinking and lengthening these knees out to the sides. So it's a little forward bend. And then next breath in, we'll come back up. And then bring those knees in, take the legs out, give them a loose little shake off. Brilliant. Okay, so if you're on something high, you may want to come off that. This blanket's not too high, so I'm just going to lean behind, feet on the floor, back hip width, little roll side to side on the buttocks. Now we're going to hold it over to the right side, do a Marilyn Monroe hair flip, and let's look over to the left. More glamorous. Alright, we'll come back to centre and then looking over to our right. Tuck both toes under, walk the hands back in a little closer, and then we're going to take our knees off the floor, roll back as we walk the hands in until we can get our heels on the ground. See, my knees are nice and soft, and we're in a forward bend now. So take your time coming up, no rush. Try and get your weight more through your heels. Let's lift the head, chest up a little bit more. You can rest the hands here on the thighs, preferably not the knee joints. Shoulders back, and have a look at my spine. So I'm not rounding out. So I want to draw the shoulders back, open the chest, reach back through the hips, and then I'm going to use my legs to bring me up now. Oh, there's a good crack over the knee. Don't know if you can hear that. Okay, shake it out. So we're up to stand. We're going to be doing a whole lot of shoulder movements, wrist movements, etc., just warming up into the arms. So for anyone who does have frozen shoulders, probably don't have the arms all the way out extended. Maybe keep the arms down and just work on getting that mobility through the shoulder joints instead. So let's start with the hands out if we can. Just shoulder height here. And we'll do a little rotation into the wrists. And then we'll go the other way. And then we're going to pull the fingers back. And then all the way down. So this is a little bit of a nerve stretch through the arms here. Up and down a few times. Awesome. And then just reach out through the fingertips. So we're going to do little circles. So I've got my circles coming forwards. And then we'll start to make those circles a little bit bigger. And keep going round, and then bigger again. Until we can find our full range of movement through these shoulders. Alright, so that's one direction. We're going to go big movements back in the other direction. So remember, if that's too strong, you can do this here. So nice big movements. And then we'll start to make the circles a little bit smaller. Make sure that your feet are grounded. Good posture, nice tall spine, little circles now. And just those little ones, it's like, oh, you can start to feel those muscles having to work a little bit harder. Alright, shake it out, release, relax. Now, I think we did this last week, but we're going to get those arms in nice big movements again, but this time just for a little bit of a brain exercise. We're going to see if we can have one going forwards, one backwards. So start with both arms up, and then as we take one arm forwards, the other arm goes back. So this is like the quarter position, and then this is the halfway position. Now we've got 3/4 position, and then all the way back. So then we just let them drop and swing. So we've got one arm going forwards, one arm going backwards, hopefully. And then when you get the hang of that, how about we try switch? So you just start from the top, let it swing, hopefully. Alright, let that go. In and out. So alternating which arm's on top, we're opening up the back of the shoulders here, opening up the chest. Fabulous. Okay, and then bring elbows to touch, palms to touch. And then can we bring the backs of hands? I find this one a little bit trickier. I've got short upper arms. Alright, and release. Legs. So we're building up to Garudasana, our eagle pose. So we're going to do a little stretch for the outer hip part of the legs here. These are the outer thighs, iliotibial band. So you may want to have a brick or something a little bit higher, perhaps a chair is an option as well, in front to put your hands on. And I'll show you a side-on view for this one. I'm balancing on my left foot. I'm going to bring my right foot around. It's very close to my left, both toes pointing forwards. And then I'm just folding forwards as much as I can from the hips. Now, you can bring your hands to a support, or you may be able to reach the floor a little bit more intense down here. And hopefully, you're feeling this opening in the left you could lean a little bit more to your right. So you can walk the hands around if that's available. Alright, we're going to come back to centre. So press the back leg against the front leg against the back. So I'm sort of squeezing them. Bend the knees a little bit and then push through those legs to come back out. And then we'll change sides. So, right foot pointing straight ahead, left foot around. Nice tight squeeze so I'm not sort of having any space between the legs here. And then we'll fall forwards. Find your support, where your hands are happy to rest. Press down through both big toes. Hopefully you're now feeling this in your right outer thigh, outer hip area. If you want to move a bit more into that, you could walk the hands around to your left side a bit more. So good for the iliotibial, this outer thigh area. Okay, we're going to come back to centre. Press the legs, a little bit of a knee bend. Press down through the feet. Push to come back out. If you're feeling a bit unstable with that, you could just uncross the legs first and then come back out. Alright, check that out. So, eagle pose, Garudasana. Now, you could use a wall. So you could lean back. Oh, I think I've set up my wall over this side today. So, you could lean back against the wall and have a bit more support. Or you might want to try doing this with a brick, or you don't need anything at all. So this posture here, I do struggle because I'm quite short and compact. I don't have those beautiful long limbs. So, all these sort of twisty things are a little bit trickier for people who are built like me. Start with both feet straight. Bend the knees a little bit, just a tiny bit. And feel really grounded through both your feet. We're going to do the arms first. So let's inhale, take both arms up. And I'm not going to worry about doing opposites, so just follow my rights and lefts as I say them rather than the picture. Bring your right arm underneath your left arm. Now you can do a nice big hug like this. So we're getting a beautiful opening across the back of the shoulders, that's what we're after. Or you may be able to intertwine the arms, and you can see I can just get my thumb. Other people, you're going to have this beautiful interlock with your hands. And then once you've got whichever position you're happy with, elbows stay here in the centre, so try not to have them going off to one side. And we're going to bend the knees. So from here, with the knees bent, it's going to be the right leg over the left. So your left foot stays on the floor. Lift your right foot up. Now you could just put the foot on the brick, or you could have it free hanging. We're squeezing the thighs. You can hook your foot behind the calf. I can't do that bit. And then we sit down just a little bit deeper. Lift up through the spine. So I want to make sure that I'm not sort of rounded out too much. And can we breathe? I'm trying to keep my hands, my elbows, my knees, my bottom foot all in one straight line. Draw the navel towards the spine to support that back. And then if it's comfortable, you can sit down a little deeper. We come forward, so I'm now bringing my gaze a little bit lower. Still breathing. And let's inhale. Bring ourselves, unravel the wings. Release the legs. Shake that out. Awesome. So, other side. We'll bring the brick over. And, again, you can have buttocks against the wall if you need to. So, arms first. Let's breathe in. Both arms up. Left arm underneath the right arm. And see what you can reach. Just get my thumb there. Squeezing. Sitting down a little bit deeper. And then left leg over the right leg. So it's a high cross. Squeeze the thighs. Maybe use the brick like I am, or you can hook the foot behind the calf if that's possible. Or you can put your foot on the floor, and then we sit down a little bit more. Keep breathing. Feel that stretch across the back of the body. So we're opening up across that sciatic area, lower back. And we're opening across the shoulders. You may be able to bring your elbows to your knees, navel to spine. Alright, inhale, let's come back up. Release the arms, release the legs, and let that go. Alright, so we won't need the brick for our next pose. We're going to take the feet a little wider. So more like hip width, or maybe just slightly wider than hip width is fine, but feet are straight. So just check that you haven't got your toes turned out. And we're going to grab hold of our right wrist. So both arms overhead, grab hold of the wrist, lift up nice and tall, and then on the exhale we're going to lean over to one side. So if you've got shoulder issues, you can't take the arms up, that's okay. Just have the arms down here. We want this big opening through our right side. Let's come back up, change the grip, breathe in, exhale, over to the right, opening up the left. So I'm letting my hip go with the stretch. Just get a little bit of a better opening that way. Alright, let's come back to our centre, release the arms, and again, little shoulder shrug. Now we're going to step the feet out nice and wide for warrior number 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Right side first, and I'm going to do opposites. So that's my right foot turned all the way out, so it's roughly 90 degrees. I'll just move the brick so you can see my foot. And then left foot, big step back. I've roughly got my heel in line with my instep, but the key thing is when you bend your front knee, is it caving to the big toe side of the foot? Because if it is, you might need to adjust your foot a little further forward. So my heel's now in line with my toes. So everyone's a little bit different. Just check that you can keep your knee in line with your hip. Hips should be comfy, so make sure that there's no discomfort in there. And you'll notice that I've not got my hips square to the camera, so they're pointing off in sort of that direction. That's fine. That's going to help keep my knee happy. So if I force my hips, my knee's going to go out. So we let the hips go off, but we're going to rotate through the ribs here. Breathe in, arms out. And then you can take the gaze, look down your right middle finger, and now we're in warrior 2. So relax your shoulders, keep the fingers extended. Breathe. Feeling strong through the legs. So try and push the feet away from each other. So I can try to spread the mat out. Keeping that knee in line with the toes. And then we'll bring the arms down, we'll come back to centre. So see how my knee's just a little bit behind my heel. That's important. I want to make sure that, let me try this side. So we'll go over to our left. I don't want to be too short in my stance and allow my knee to go past my ankle. So let's go a little bit longer. Soften into that knee. Check that you're happy with the position, that it's not caving to big toes. So I'm going more to my middle toe. And then, let these hips roll off a little bit, but we're going to turn the chest back to the front. Breathe in the arms. Take the gaze down that left hand, but relax your shoulders. And try and be centered, so don't reach over your left leg. Reach a little further back through your right hand. I want that sense of feeling strong. Feeling really connected with the earth. And good warriors are patient, so another breath here if you can manage. Alright, I'm going to come back, release, or walk the feet back in. Shake it out, loosen off. Now, if you've got a brick, this is where we might use it for Parsvakonasana, our angle pose. So initially we're going to do this posture twice. First time, let's place that brick next to the heel. Now you can change the height. So for taller people, you probably want to have your brick more up on that position. So same leg position that we just had for our warrior 2, but maybe extending it out a little bit longer if you can now the legs are warmed up. So I've got my front knee bent, and then from here we're going to keep the left hand on the hip. Starting off sliding down, resting the elbow on the thigh, and then rotating. So I'm bringing my right ribs forwards, relaxing my left shoulder back, and you can either look straight ahead, you could look up, or you could look down. Just check that the neck is happy. From here, we're going to sweep left arm over and across, and I'm trying to bring it back, because when I'm looking, I don't be looking up past the arm here. I want to look up at the front of the arm. Alright, so option of sliding down a little bit deeper. You can put your hand on the brick, you can make a fist, you can use fingertips, you can use a flat palm, whatever's comfortable. And then we're going to sweep, top arm, big breath in, push through the legs all the way out, relax. Okay, let's go the other side. So I'm going to pivot everything around. Bend into that left knee. Now I've got a little bit of an angle in my back foot, so just check your right foot's not pointing off to the opposite corner. We want everything going this direction, so I need to turn my base to follow that direction. Okay, so right hand on the hip, sliding down, elbow on the thigh, lift, turn, rotate, so we want this open chest. Sitting down a little deeper in the posture, and I'm just checking my knee hasn't gone past my ankle here, it's all good. Alright, inhale, sweep it over and across. So I'm trying to create a diagonal line from one corner to the other corner. So think of yourself in a rectangle, and you're going from the top corner to the bottom corner through the top side of your body. Perhaps slide this hand down a little bit deeper if that's comfortable. Keep this openness in the front body, so make sure you sort of haven't collapsed to get down there. And then we'll bring that arm down, nice deep breath in, push through the legs all the way up. And if you want to have a rest of the legs, feel free. Walk them in, let them go, because we have one more of these to go. This time, we're going to put the brick behind that front foot. So I've got my right foot back here in the middle. Big step back with my left. And I'm putting the brick behind. Again, feel free to adjust the height. So bending into that right knee. This time, a little different with the arms. We'll breathe both arms out. Relax the shoulders. On the exhale, slide over the right leg and bring the hand behind, maybe top arm up. So check in what position you're happy with your brick, adjust it. If it's comfortable, we'll sweep the arm over and across. And I'm working my knee back towards my right arm that is behind. So inner elbow is touching my outer knee. And we breathe. Think of that diagonal line. Of course, you can always come out at any time, but if you're happy to hold, stay with it just that little bit more. Alright, from here, one big breath, all the way out. Relax. Let's pivot it around. Grab the brick, pivot the feet. And we want that nice long length. So again, check the back foot's turned with you. Front knee soft. Inhale. Exhale, leaning over. See how my knee's starting to go past my ankle? That means I can go a little bit longer. So be mindful of that. We'll bring one arm behind, one arm up. Work the knee back to the arm. And then add the top arm, a little bit more extension. Are we still breathing? Find a comfortable position. Make sure the fingers are alive on the top hand. Press down through the little toe sole of your right foot. Couple more breaths if you can manage it. Nearly there. And when you're ready, top arm down. Inhale, strong legs. Release. Let's walk the feet back in. Coming into Uttanasana, so we're going to have a rest. You could rest your bottom on the wall, or you could do a freestanding, so soft knees, Fold from the hips, either rest your elbows here, this is a bit more neutral, or if there's no blood pressure problems, you can come all the way down, release the back of the neck, feel that openness in the back, belly on the thighs. Okay, we're going to come back out nice and slow. So bend the knees a little bit deeper, bring the weight towards the heels, inhale, start to lift the head, lift the chest, and we slowly come back upright. Now we have one more standing pose. It's another balance, and for this one most of you are going to want to use a strap, so if you can find your strap. And again, if you're a little bit challenged with balance, you can use the wall for this as well. So if you're going to use the wall, you want to stand with the wall directly behind you. And to give you an idea, we'll be balancing on the right foot to start with. So we're going to be putting the strap around our left foot like so. We'll be coming up into this position. So I've got my shoulders, my head, my buttocks on the wall. You can take that right arm out. You can take the left leg up and then possibly out to the side. If you don't want to use the wall, if you want a little bit more challenge with your balance, awesome. Again, same thing. We're going to put the strap around. So we call this one the wing pose. My right foot pointing straight ahead. That's going to be my balance leg. So I draw up my kneecap, keep my thighs firm, and then start to take that left foot up. Now, I want to keep my pelvis very level if I can. So if you put your right hand on your hips, watch that you haven't sort of kicked in like this. So I'm drawing down my left hip, really reaching up through my right side of the legs here in the hip, and I've got a tall spine. And then from this position, extend the leg forwards without rounding the back. Hence, the use of a strap is really useful. Some of you might be okay to grab hold of your big toe. Awesome, you can do that as well. Now, if you've got all that working for you, you want to add a little bit more. Take that left leg out to the side, take the right arm out for a counterbalance, and this is our wing pose, Bakasana. Quite strong. Okay, we're going to bring it back in and relax. Alright, so before we go to the other side, nice little swing. So a lot of strength work happening there, and it really helps if you've got those open hamstrings. Alright, other side. So let's place. Strap around the right foot. I check my left foot's pointing straight ahead. More up through the leg muscles. Now feel where this pelvis is. So I don't want it kicking off. Okay, so we're going to bend the knee, draw it up. Feel free to hold your toes or just stay with the strap is fine as well. And then, checking in with my pelvis again, it's pretty level now. I'm going to take that leg out. Nice tall spine. Still breathing. Don't forget to smile. Maybe take left arm out to the side now. And if you want, let's try taking our right leg out. This is our wing. Shoulders relaxed. You might find one side's easier than the other. We'll bring it back in. Bend the knee, take the strap off. Put that to the side. Okay, again, soft knees, nice little swing. That was our last standing pose today. So now we're going to make our way back to the floor, and we'll do it via downward dog. We haven't done a Svanasana yet today. So starting towards one end of your mat, we'll be walking forwards with the hands. Feet are roughly hip width. Let's soften the knees, fold from the hips, fingertips to floor. So I want to try and keep my heels grounded for as long as I can. So I start to walk forwards, pressing the heels down, straightening more into the legs now as I go further out, until I find my comfortable downward dog, And you can see my heels are just a little bit off the floor. That's normal. A lot of people get quite off the floor. Bear in mind that I'm quite blessed with open hamstrings. And I relax my shoulders. I just let the head hang, looking at the feet, breathing into the belly. And then we'll take both knees to the floor. We'll come down, have a little rest, big toes touch, and finding your comfortable child pose. Bear in mind that my hips are quite high. If you can get your bottom towards your heels, that's a better position. Alright, and come back up. Now, one more of those, but the difference will be that our forearms will stay on the floor. So for those who don't like downward dog with their wrists, you're going to prefer this one much more. But it is a little stronger on the shoulders. So for people with shoulder issues, you may not want to do this one on the forearms. You may just want to stick with more of a normal downward dog on the hands. Or, try taking the hands a little wider, give those shoulders a bit more space. So for those who can, let's bring the hands together, elbows roughly underneath the shoulders. I just have enough space here that my head can hang between those upper arms. So tucking the toes, lifting both knees off the floor, and then easing back with the hips. So my shoulders are behind my elbows, they're not over the top. So I just want to release, my hair's touching the floor, but my forehead isn't. And if it's comfortable, again, just a couple of breaths here. You could try taking the feet in a little closer. See how that feels on your shoulders. Alright, let's come back down. Knees to floor, find your rest position. If you want, support the head or rest on the floor. And we'll slowly come back out of that. So on the breath in, just gently lifting up with the head. Now we're going to move into some seated forward bending. So bring your blanket back into play. And again, you might want to have a strap within reach. So I've just got a little fold here. For those who are a bit tighter for the hamstrings, you may want to keep the straight leg a little bit bent, so you may want to have a little bit of support behind the back of the knee. Pool noodles are great. I know it's hard to get to the shops now, but sometimes, I think Kmart's still open, they sell pool noodles and you can just cut them up with a kitchen knife for your yoga practice. Okay, so both legs out in front, sitting in Dandasana. I've got my toes pulled back, I can feel both my sit bones just on the edge of my blanket here. And we're going to keep the right leg straight, bend the left knee, and then rotate from the hip joint. We're going to take that leg out to the side. Now you could give your hip or your knee joint more support with a brick. If it's right down near the floor, you might not need the brick, or if there's no discomfort, you can have it where it's comfortable. So you can see while I'm focusing on that, I've lost all the focus in my right leg and it's flopped out to the side. So we're going to bring that back. I want my kneecap facing the ceiling. I make my foot active, and that means I'm just, drawing back a little bit more with the toes and the whole foot there. So we're going to face our straight leg. We're coming into Janushirasana, our head to knee pose. You could use a strap around the ball of the foot, but it's again not crucial to do that. You could also just have the hands either side of the foot there, or the leg. So we want to try and keep the spine nice and long. We draw up, we breathe in, and the movement is trying to come from right down here in these hip joints. So I lever forwards, And then you can place the hands and relax. And if it's comfortable, sure, you can hold on to the foot or hold on to your strap. But this is a softening, so don't force. Try and release. Doesn't matter if you can't get your head to the knee, I don't do that anymore. The joys of getting older means that some postures you have to back off and be happy wherever you get to on certain days. And then on the breath in, we're going to come back out. So that's working on lots of different things. We'll go to the other side. So straightening out that left leg, bend the right knee. Once the knee's bent, then we rotate from the hip, and feel free to give that support with the hip joint or the knee joints asking for it. For those who've been in my classes for a while, you know how to modify for yourselves, so please be your own best teacher and do that. Okay, let's bring this left leg back to activeness, so toes back, kneecap facing ceiling, facing the front foot, draw up tall through the spine on the breath in. On the exhale, hinge from the hips, no forcing, so I'm just seeing where my body's happy to go to without that force. I'm going to rest my hands wherever they're comfortable. So even if I'm lucky enough to touch my toes, but I'm not trying to force myself anywhere. I just relax, I soften. Smiling always helps to relax into that face. And notice where you're feeling it. So it could be different on this side. For me, my hips are a little tight, so I can feel it in my hip joints. Other people, it's going to be your hamstrings. If it is your hamstrings, soften the knee a little bit to ease a bit more into that. Alright, next breath in. Slowly come back out. We'll bring that leg back out to the front, loosen it off. After that forward bend, let's bring the arms behind, point away through the toes, lift the chest, so this is like a little mini back bend, whatever feels good. After the forward bend, it's not too strong, and then release. Now we're going to come over onto our backs, so a little bit more twisting before we settle to a short relaxation, because we want to make sure that we've got our chocolate meditation at the end. So let's lie down. Comfy position. We're going to have the knees bent, arms are up to the sides. I don't mind if the palms are up or palms down, whatever's comfy. I just want to make sure that you don't have your arms too high. So this is not shoulder height. So just check that you can get the shoulders down and relaxed, and then the arms extend from there. Okay, so taking our left leg over our right leg, and then walk the right foot a little bit across so it's more in front of your left buttock. And then we're going to press down through the right foot, lift the hips up, and do a little rotation. So I've just sort of swiveled my hips, and now I'm just resting more on my right buttock. You can see my left buttock's off the floor now. So from this position, this is where we'll move to the twist. We're going to roll to the right, hopefully keeping our left shoulder on the floor. But if it's sort of come up like that, you might need to back off on the legs a little bit. So keep the shoulders relaxed to the floor. And breathe into the belly. And see if you can soften. So nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, we just try and let go. No tension. And can you notice how when we exhale and just release into the twist, we can go a little deeper. We just let gravity take us into the twist. And let's come back out. Breath in, legs to center. And we'll uncross, and you're going to feel quite crooked, so let's just readjust back to center. And this time we'll take right leg over left, walk your left foot so it's a little bit more in front of your right buttock, Press down through the left foot, lift the hips, rotate. So we're now resting on that left buttock. And now we relax, legs to the left. If it's too intense, just release across. And we breathe. Breathe into this belly. Soften on the exhale, no tension. Think of gravity taking us into the pose. Alright, we'll make our way back out on the breath in. Uncrossing the legs, realigning the spine. And if you wish, you can take both knees in towards the chest and give yourself a little rock or a nice little roll, whatever feels good for your back. And I would suggest putting something warm on. I know here it's starting to get a little bit cooler, so you don't want to get too cool in your relaxation. So if you've got something warm, you can grab and put that on. Perhaps get that now. We're only going to do a very short relaxation on the floor, and then I'm going to get you to come to sit upright. So it's super important that you're going to be really comfy when we come to upright. So when we come to that stage, you don't want to disturb yourself too much from the relaxation of sitting upright. So have, a bolster with an easy reach if you've got one, or a big pile of cushions, or there's nothing wrong with sitting in a chair either for the meditation. I will be seated, but you guys lie down, get comfy, while I set myself up with this. So once you've found your comfortable position, close the eyes, connect with your breath. So just observe that breath moving in and out through the nostrils. Feel that rise and fall in the belly. And with each exhale, we think of the word relax. Breathing in, I am. Breathing out, relaxed. And with each exhale, each relax, feel the body becoming heavier and heavier as you let yourself be supported by the floor. As you lie there still, aware of your breath, just observing what's passing through the mind. And if there's a particular thought that keeps popping up, just observe that. Let it go. See what next thought may pop up. Nice to think of thoughts as little clouds passing across the sky of the mind. They come and they go, and some arrive a little bit more regularly. So that's also something to observe with your thought patterns. connection of your body with the ground. And then opening up the awareness now to sounds. So conscious of the sounds that are around you. What's the most distant sound you can be aware of? And then what's the closest sound you can be aware of? And then breathing in that little bit deeper. Expanding into the lungs, feeling that cool air coming into the body. Letting it go on the exhale, and on the next breath in, start to add a little bit of movement into the hands, into the feet. Slowly waking the body up, stretching the arms and the legs. Whatever feels good. Opening the eyes, blinking them a few times. And then, when you're ready, rolling over to the side. And then making your way up into a comfortable seated position. And again, check you're going to be warm. And this is where we need to locate our little bit of chocolate or your almond or sultana, whatever you would like to do this next little meditation with. So comfy position. You see when I sit for extended periods, I've got my hips sort of roughly in line with my knees. So sit in a chair if a bolster isn't high enough or not comfortable. Okay, so with our chocolate meditation, you want a nice tall spine, comfortable seated position. You don't want to be distracted. And if you've got a little Easter egg that's wrapped, then you're going to have to unwrap it. Do not put it in your mouth just yet. I have had some students in the past where I've handed out the Easter eggs, and before I've sat down to start the meditation, they've already eaten them. It's like, no! So I always have to caution people now, don't eat your Easter egg straight away. Okay, so I have unwrapped my egg. So what you're going to do is, if you preserve the foil, if you've got a little square or something, maybe just have, so it doesn't melt in your hand, have something beneath you and the chocolate. And you're going to put it on your hand like so. Or if you've got your almond or your sultana, rest it in the centre of the palm of your hand. And then close your eyes. And I want you to feel the weight of that piece of food in your hand. So just noticing how the pressure of that item of food on the hand feels. And you may have noticed, even from this distance, you could bring that piece of food up a little closer to your nose, but you may even be able to smell the almond, the chocolate, or the sultana, or apricot, whatever it is. So with the eyes closed, just engage the other senses. We can feel the touch, the pressure, we might be able to smell it. And then notice what the thoughts are. There might already be anticipation of what you're about to enjoy. You might have memories associated with this piece of food. So what comes up in your mind before we've even eaten it? So now's the fun bit. When you get to take that piece of food and we're going to put it on the tongue, but you're not allowed to chew it up, move it around. You're just going to rest the chocolate or the almond, etc. on your tongue. And notice that first hit of taste. Notice the saliva in the mouth going into overdrive. And is the smell more intense or has it lessened? Taste and smell are very closely aligned. And if you've got a piece of chocolate, it's probably starting to melt. So when you've got to swallow, swallow. And observe that taste going down the throat, whatever you have in your mouth. Feel the texture. As you move your tongue around now that piece of food, can you feel the skin or the texture that's happening in the mouth? Can you feel it coating the tongue, the teeth? And has the taste changed? Does it taste as good as you thought it would? Or is it better? And if you've got that sultana or almond, then you're going to have to bring it to the teeth and break it open and chew it. So allow that to happen. And those with the chocolate, it's probably a big molten mass by now in your mouth. So again, observe how it coats everything in the mouth. Keep observing the change in the taste buds. Is it sweeter? Is it more bland? Is it more intense, or has it eased off? And eventually, you will need to swallow that piece of food, so digest it. And as you digest your chocolate, your almond, your sultana, whatever it is, I want you to think about how the different energies have gone into that piece of food. So for instance, the sultana was once a grape. It was on a vine. It absorbed the sunlight. It absorbed the water from the earth, the rain, the nutrients from the soil. If it was a piece of chocolate, it's got a lot of milk in it probably. It's got cacao, again a plant-based, it's got sugar. So think about the energies that have gone into that piece of food that you are now ingesting into your body. Check in with the taste and the smell again. Has it changed? So once you've ingested the food, what's the aftertaste like in the mouth? And appreciate how much energy went into producing that one little bit of food that is now a part of your body. And imagine if we treated all our food with that same awareness. So just sitting with those sensations in the mouth, awareness of the senses of taste and smell. And then coming back to the breath, so breathing through the nose, inhaling. Let's bring the hands together and come down towards the heart. Let's breathe in, extend the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, let's connect with the earth. And then bringing both hands back to the heart center and just allowing a little bow of the head towards the hands while I read our quote for the week. So this quote is from Sadhguru. Oh no, I've run out of power. He says, "This is the time to sit back, look at our lives, reflect, strategize the trajectory of what we want our life to be, and above all, realize the fragile nature of our existence." So using this time, while we have a lot more home time, to look at our life priorities. So think about what you just ate. I hope you really enjoyed it. And when you sit down to your next meal, think about what you're taking into your body and appreciate all the energies that have gone into that production of the food. From the earth, the sky, the sun, all the way through to someone lovingly cutting it up and producing it into a meal for you. Alright, namaste. Have an excellent rest of your week. Enjoy your Easter and see you after Easter. Thank you. Bye.